1. Introduction. My name is Sharon. I am 26 years old. I went to Las Vegas with my best friend. We wanted to have a good time. We had many drinks. We danced. It was a fun night, a very wild night. The next morning, I woke up in a hotel room. The sun was bright outside. My head hurt a little. I looked around the room. It was not my room. I looked at my hand. There was a ring on my finger. It was a wedding ring. My eyes opened wide. Then I saw him. A man was in the bed next to me. He was sleeping. I did not know this man. He was a stranger, but he was handsome. He had dark hair and a nice face. I felt very surprised. Who was this man? Why was he in my bed? And why did I have a wedding ring? The man opened his eyes. He looked at me. He did not look surprised. He smiled a little. His eyes were a nice color. He said, "Good morning, wife." My heart beat very fast. Wife? What did he mean? I did not know him. This was crazy. I felt scared. I said, "Wife, what are you talking about? Who are you?" He sat up in the bed. He was not wearing a shirt. He looked very calm. "My name is Joe," he said, "and we are married. We got married last night." Married to a stranger? My mind felt like it was running in circles. I started to panic. "No, that is not possible. I don't know you. We can't be married." He looked at me calmly. He did not look scared or angry. He looked okay with it. "Yes, we are," he said quietly. "It is real. We signed the papers. It happened." I wanted to cry. How could I do this? What did I do? I was married to a stranger. I did not remember anything after a certain time last night. Joe looked at my face. He saw I was scared. He said, "Listen, don't worry so much. Yes, we are married. It is a surprise for both of us, maybe, but maybe we can stay married for a short time. We can think about it. It does not have to be forever right now." Stay married to a stranger? This was a very strange idea, but he said it so calmly. He looked kind. I did not know what to say. My head was still spinning. I looked at the ring on my finger again. It was really there. I was married to Joe, a man I met last night and did not remember meeting. This was my life now. It started today in Las Vegas with a ring and a stranger. 2. The deal. Joe looked at me. He was very calm. He said, "We are married now. It was a mistake, but maybe we can use this." I did not understand. My head still felt strange from the night before. He sat up and looked at me seriously. "I have a problem," he said. "For my business, I need a wife." "Just for a short time." He paused. "I need you to stay married to me for 30 days. 30 days? That seemed like a long time. "Why?" I asked. "Why me?" He explained that a big business deal was happening soon. For this deal, he needed to look like a stable man with a wife. He said it was very important for his work. He needed a wife now, quickly. And I was here. We were already married. Then he said something that made my eyes open wide. "If you agree, I will pay you." He looked at me directly. $100,000. $100,000. I had almost no money. I worked a simple job. My rent was late. $100,000 was like a dream. It was more money than I could make in many years. I was shocked. Stay married to this stranger for 30 days for $100,000. It was a crazy idea, but I was poor. I needed money badly. This was a lot of money. It could change my life. I thought for a moment. He was a stranger, but he seemed nice, and he was very polite. He needed this for his business. It was just for 30 days. I could do anything for 30 days, especially for that much money. Okay, I said slowly. I agree. Joe smiled a little. He reached for a paper on the table next to the bed. I wrote something for us to sign, he said. It is a simple contract. He gave it to me. I read it quickly. It said I would stay married to him for 30 days, and he would pay me $100,000 at the end. I took the pen he offered and signed my name. Joe signed his name too. The paper felt very real in my hand. I just signed a contract to stay married to a stranger for money. After that, things moved quickly. We left the hotel. Joe took me to his home. We went to a very tall building in the city. We went up in a fast elevator. His apartment was at the top. It was a penthouse. It was very, very big. There were many rooms, expensive furniture, and amazing views of the city. This was not just a man with a job. Joe had a lot of money, much more than I thought. Living here for 30 days would be very different from my small apartment. I looked around his beautiful, huge home and knew my life was going to change a lot for the next 30 days. 3. Playing a wife. I had a new job. My job was to be Joe's wife. It was not a real marriage, just a paper. But I had to pretend it was real. I had to act like I loved him very much. This was part of our deal for the money. I needed the money very badly. So I had to be a good actress. We went to many different places together. We went to nice restaurants for dinner. We went to big parties in beautiful houses. These were all business events for Joe. I met many people. They were his business friends and partners. They all seemed very important. I had to smile a lot. I had to make good conversation. I tried my best to be the perfect wife for Joe. Joe was very good at this game. He made it easy for me. When we were with other people, he never left my side. He always kept me close. He put his arm around my waist. He held my hand very tightly. He looked at me with a warm smile. He told stories about me to his friends, stories that were not always true, but they made me sound wonderful. He made everyone believe that he loved me deeply. At the start of these events, it felt strange and funny. It felt like I was on a big stage. I was just playing a part in a play. I put on a happy face and said the right words. I did what I had to do. I told myself it was just for 30 days. After 30 days, it would be finished. The money would be mine, and I could go back to my normal life. It was just a job, a strange, temporary job. But as the days went by, things started to change inside me. We spent a lot of time together, not just at the business events, but also living in the same home. We talked more. We laughed sometimes. I saw parts of him that were not for business. He was kind and thoughtful. He listened when I talked. He was not just the man from the contract. When he held my hand during a dinner, it did not feel like acting anymore. It felt warm. When he looked at me and smiled, my heart felt a little jump. I started to forget that this was fake. It felt a little bit real. I started to think about Joe when he was not in the room. I wondered what he was doing. I wanted to tell him things. I wanted to hear his voice. My feelings for him started to grow stronger every day. This was not part of the plan we made in Chapter 2. It was not in the paper I signed. I looked at Joe when he was not looking at me. Was he just pretending all the time? Was this all just a show for his business? Or did he feel something real too? Sometimes, when he looked at me quickly, his eyes looked different. They looked soft and maybe a little bit lost. They looked like maybe he felt something more than just business. I did not know for sure. I was very confused. I was supposed to be playing a wife. But maybe, just maybe, my feelings for him were becoming very real. And maybe, just maybe, his feelings for me were changing too. This did not feel like a simple game anymore. This felt like something new and important, something I did not understand at all. I started to hope, deep inside, that he felt the same way. I started to want this fake marriage to become a real marriage. I started to want Joe, not just the money. This was a very big surprise for me. I did not expect this feeling when I signed the contract. Now, the 30 days felt different. They felt like a chance. I watched him carefully. I waited to see. I hoped with all my heart. For the old girlfriend, life with Joe was busy. We went to many places. I met many people. I smiled and acted happy. I was Joe's wife. I started to like being his wife. I liked being with him. I thought he liked being with me too. But then a woman came back. She was very beautiful. She had long, dark hair and bright eyes. She looked strong. This woman was Joe's old girlfriend. Her name was Victoria. She was not happy to see me. She looked at me with cold eyes. She talked to Joe first. They talked for a long time. I did not hear everything, but I heard her voice. It was loud. She was angry. Then Victoria looked at me. She walked closer. She said, "Your marriage is not real. It is a game." She said it loudly. She wanted me to feel bad. She said I was only with Joe for his money. This was not true. Well, at first maybe, but not now. It made me feel very hurt. I did not know what to say. Victoria did not stop. She talked to people. She talked to people who write for newspapers. She told them bad things about me. She said I was a gold digger. This means someone who only wants money. The newspapers wrote about me. They wrote bad things. People looked at me differently. It was hard. I felt sad and angry. But Joe helped me. He was angry at Victoria. He told her to stop. He stood next to me when people looked at me. He told the newspapers that Victoria was wrong. He protected me from her words. He protected me from the bad stories. I was thankful for that. I felt safe with him. However, I felt something else too. I felt that Joe was not telling me everything. When Victoria was there, Joe acted strange sometimes. He seemed worried. He did not talk about his past with Victoria very much. He had secrets. I felt sure of it. Big secrets. What was he hiding? Why was he hiding it? This made me worry. I did not like secrets. I wanted to know the truth. Was our marriage just a game for him? Or was it becoming real for him too? I did not know. The secrets made me feel unsure about everything. 5. The big secret. One day I was in the big apartment. I was alone. I saw a magazine on a table. It had a picture of Joe on the cover. I picked it up and started to read. The words were about Joe and his family. I read something that made my heart stop. It said Joe was not just a rich man. It said he was a billionaire. His family was one of the most famous families in the country. They owned a very, very big company. I felt a shock. My hands shook. Joe was a billionaire. He had so much money, more than I could ever think about. He had a famous name, but he never told me. He kept this big secret from me. I felt very hurt. I felt like he lied to me about who he was. All this time, I thought I was getting to know Joe, the man. But there was this huge part of his life he hid. When Joe came home, I was still holding the magazine. My eyes were red. He saw me and knew something was wrong. I showed him the magazine. "You are a billionaire?" I asked. My voice was quiet. He looked at the floor. "Yes," he said softly. "It is true." "Why did you not tell me?" I asked. Tears came to my eyes. "Why did you keep this secret?" He walked closer to me. "Sharon, I wanted to tell you, but..." He stopped. "I did not want you to know about the money. I did not want you to like me because of the money. I wanted you to like me, maybe love me for me, not for being rich, not for being a billionaire." His words were maybe kind, but I was too sad. My head was full of thoughts. He had lied. He had a whole secret life. I did not know who he really was. I felt confused and lost. I could not stay here. I could not look at him right now. I needed to be alone. "I cannot," I said. "I cannot do this now." I put the magazine down. "I need to go." I walked to the bedroom. I quickly put some clothes in a small bag. Joe followed me. He tried to talk, but I could not listen. I was too hurt. I walked to the door of the big apartment. I opened it. I walked out into the hallway. I did not look back at Joe. I just left. I needed to get away and think about everything. 6. One last time. Sharon felt sad. She had left Joe's beautiful apartment. She felt confused and hurt. Days passed slowly. Then Joe called her phone. Sharon saw his name. She did not want to talk to him, but her hand answered the call. Joe's voice was not strong like usual. He sounded tired. He asked her to come back. Sharon was surprised to hear his voice. She asked him why she should come back. Joe explained. It was a very important reason. His grandfather was very ill. He was an old man, over 90 years old. The doctor said he did not have much time left. He was dying. Joe's grandfather had one wish. He wanted to meet Joe's wife before he died. Joe asked Sharon if she could come back for this, just for one last time. He needed her to pretend to be his wife again. Sharon thought for a long moment. She remembered how hurt she felt when she learned his secret. He was a billionaire. He did not tell her, but she also remembered the good times. And she felt a little bit sorry for Joe and for his grandfather, an old man who was dying. She decided to help. "Okay," she said softly. "I will come back for your grandfather." Joe came to pick her up. He drove her to a different part of the city. They stopped in front of a large, old house. It looked very grand, like a place from a history book. This must be his family's home, Sharon thought. They went inside. It was quiet and felt very formal. A kind woman, a nurse, met them. Joe took Sharon's hand as they walked. Her heart beat a little faster. It felt like they were back in the game, playing the happy couple. But this time it felt different, more serious. They went into a large bedroom. In a big bed was an old man. His face was thin, but his eyes were bright. This was Joe's grandfather. Joe smiled at him. "Grandfather," Joe said gently, "this is Sharon, my wife." Sharon stepped forward. She smiled and said hello. She tried hard to look like a loving wife. The grandfather smiled at her. He reached out a hand. Sharon took it gently. His hand was warm but weak. He looked at Sharon's face for a long time, then he looked at Joe. He smiled again. "You look happy, my boy," the grandfather said in a soft voice. "She is a lovely girl. I can see the love between you two." Sharon felt strange inside. He thought it was real love. Joe squeezed Sharon's hand slightly. He smiled at his grandfather. They talked for some time. Sharon asked the grandfather questions. She listened to his stories. She forgot for a moment that it was pretend. After a while, they left the room. Joe looked sad but also a little peaceful. He thanked Sharon again for coming. He took her back to her small apartment. A few days later, Joe called Sharon. He told her his grandfather had passed away. Sharon felt sad for him. Then Joe told her about the will. His grandfather had changed it. He gave all his money, his big business, everything to Joe. But there was a condition. Joe would only get it if he stayed married to Sharon. The condition was they must be married for 1 full year. Sharon was quiet on the phone. 1 year, not 30 days, but 365 days. all because his grandfather thought their love was true. It was a lot to think about. 7. Real love. We were living together again. This time was very different. It was not pretend anymore. It was real. We started to learn about each other every day. We talked a lot. We spent hours just talking. I saw the real Joe. He was kind and gentle. He was a good man with a good heart. He cared about people, not just business. We laughed together often. We spent quiet time together, too. We cooked meals in the big kitchen, sometimes making a mess. We watched movies on the sofa, sometimes falling asleep. We talked about everything, our pasts, our dreams for the future, things that made us afraid. Building this felt important. It felt strong and true. My feelings for Joe grew stronger each day. I knew I loved him. I loved the kind man I saw now, not the rich stranger from that first morning. One day, I needed to tell him something important. I looked at him and said, "Joe, I need you to know this. I don't care about the money. Your family has a lot of money. You are very rich. But that does not matter to me. I care about you, just you, the real you." He looked at me with kind eyes. He took my hands in his. He smiled a warm, true smile. He said, "Sharon, the money is not important to me either. Not anymore, not without you. You are the most important thing in my life. I only want you." My heart felt so full and happy it could burst. Then he did something that made my eyes wet, happy wet. He held my hands tightly. He looked deep into my eyes. He said, "Sharon, when we married in Las Vegas, it was crazy. It was an accident. It was not real love then." He paused, his voice soft. "But now it is real. My love for you is real." He took a deep breath. "Sharon, I love you. Will you marry me again? This time, please marry me for real love." Tears came to my eyes, happy tears. I smiled big and bright. "Yes, Joe," I said. "Yes, I will marry you again, for real love." We held each other close. It felt like the real start of our life together. No more games, no more contracts, just us and our real love. We talked about our future, our life together, a future with no secrets, just us, and our real love. It felt so right. This was the life I wanted, with the man I loved, and who loved me back, for real. We were so happy together. 8, our new life. 1 year has passed. It feels like a long time, but also like yesterday. We are still married. Joe and I are very happy together now. There are no more secrets between us. We tell each other everything. There are no more lies, not even small ones. Our life is open and true. We do not live in the big apartment in the city anymore. We moved to a new house. It is a beautiful house. It is near the ocean. We can see the blue water from our windows. We can hear the sound of the waves every day. Walking on the sand is a nice way to start the morning. The air is fresh and clean here. It is a peaceful place to live. I started something new. It is a charity. This charity helps people who need help. It helps people who do not have homes or enough food. Working for the charity makes me feel good. I like helping other people. Joe helps me with the charity too. He gives ideas and sometimes helps with the work. Joe made a big change in his life. He left his big company. The company was very important and took all his time, but he decided he wanted a quiet life. He wanted more time with me. He did not need the company or all the money from it. He said I was more important than the business. So he left the company. Now he is home more often. We do things together. We walk on the beach. We cook dinner together. We talk for hours. Our love is real now. It is not a game or a contract. It is not something that happened by accident in Las Vegas. It grew strong over the past year. We learned about each other. We learned to trust each other. We learned to love each other for who we are. It was a strange start, but it led to a happy ending. We are building our new life, one day at a time, and it is a good life.